Hi everybody, thanks for joining me for my brief explanation of Aquatica, and I'm going to share with you a couple of my favorite things about the game before I announce the winner for the Aquatica giveaway. Stay tuned because you will see the announcement for the winner right here in this video. So let's dive into Aquatica and see what all the hubbub is about. As the box lid to Aquatica states, simple diving deep strategies. Now there is definitely something to that in Aquatica. I would say that this game has two really clever mechanics for what can be a very surprisingly short game. Now this isn't a hard game to necessarily learn. I think that the thing most people might get confused about are the locations, and that's really where you see all of this symbology. You see a lot of symbols and pluses and minuses and reds and all these different colors and stuff. So the locations can be a little tricky, but it's the coolest part of the game by far. And it's mostly because every player has one of these boards, and what you do with your cards once you get them is you slide them into your board and they begin to disappear as you take those actions and move your card all the way up until it has been completely used. That is so cool. It's very cool. And then once you get it all the way up, then you can you can do a treasure chest action and move this all the way up here to your treasure chest. You've essentially banked it. That is, again, the coolest part of this, is that these locations, and you only have room for 5 locations, go into this individual player board and they slide up into this cool device that everybody gets. The other thing about this that you need to keep in mind is that every player is going to start with these cards, and they are all identical to each other, and they all give players these basic actions. Now, if you play a card that has an action, gain $1 and buy 1 location, you are doing that. You can't do that unless you have the card that says that. So all of these cards state different kinds of actions that you can do on the board, and they give you certain benefits or discounts or bonuses. And these are called character cards, which one of the actual characters you start with says gain a character. And you're going to be able to add these other characters that give different dynamics than your base cards offer. So players are going to add locations to their personal play area, their deep area. They are going to gather characters to add to their deck. And you will play through a card and leave it down until you do the action, which allows you to take back all of your cards, and then you take those back, and then you're able to play those cards again. There are also king cards, and these just give players another character card that does something really, really special. Now the cards down here, there are 2 of each of the cards that you see, and in this deck, these are all wholly unique. They do something super, super special, and it's based on drafting and player turn order in the beginning of the game. This is optional to play with. I played with it every time. I thought it was great, so maybe consider using king cards sooner than later. It's not going to add any real complexity to the game that is hard to overcome in the first play. There are some goals in this game, and the goals are listed at the top of the board. Now here's another really cool push and pull balance that the game offers. You have to place your personal colored manta rays. So I'm playing with green, the triangles. And if I ever meet one of these goal conditions, I have to place my manta ray, and I lose that bonus or that benefit, because manta rays give you really cool extra little things just when you need it, right? When you're $1 shy, or you really want to bump a card, a location card, further up so that you can bank it and use that chest. So they're going to take away those bonuses, but they also get you victory points. Notice that the first person to get to any of these conditions and puts a manta ray down gets 8 victory points. That's big. Now, if you go, again, you're going to get fewer points, but you still get victory points. There's also some versatility with these conditions that trigger the end of the game. The game comes with 2-sided tokens that allow you to cover up certain conditions to change what you're going for, what your objective is during each game. And so you can randomize it, you can select them as a group, you can make that choice. And they give you different things to go for than just these basic ones printed on the board. I think that flexibility is really great. When someone has triggered all 4 of these end game conditions or requirements, then that will be the end of the game. If anyone ever runs through the character deck and we can't draw any more to replace here, that's going to trigger the end of the game too. And then the same thing for the locations. This stack is definitely much bigger. I don't think that this is ever going to end the game based on all the gameplays I've had. It's either one of these 2 locations that triggers the end of the game. So like I said before, I think my favorite part of the game is that these locations function in a really cool way. There's going to be a cost at the top, and you can either pay money or you can fight it. That's what the slash is between them. There are little circles along that left side. Now these circles could include anything like a +1 trident, which is +1 when you fight, when you use a physical fight to defeat one of these locations. It might also include a +2 or +3 gold coin, and that gives you +2 or +3 when you go to buy a location. There are also symbols that you'll see give you discounts on certain types of cards. At the very bottom of every card, there's going to be some information. There's going to be victory points in francs, meaning if you bank that card, you get that amount of victory points. There's also going to be an immediate benefit. So if you see a manta ray in purple and it has a symbol on it, you get to reach into the general pool of manta rays and take out the one that matches the symbol. And that's how you gain manta rays, so that you don't have to spend yours and be left with nothing. Because again, you can only claim these victory points with these conditions with your own specific player color manta rays. The last thing you're going to see is the type of card it is. There are 4 types, and so when you have discounts, you might actually get discounts to fight particular locations. Other things you might see in these circles are a little arrow pointing up that either is just 1 or it has like a 2 arrow. It also might say with a line on it, which means bump something all the way to the end. That just allows you to move past empty circles. So if you want to move past this spot, you need to have a little arrow that bumps you up. And it's on another card that you activate, and then you use it on another card. So your locations, you might go, well, I want to do this here, and I want to do that, and it bumps this one, and then it bumps that one, and then I get the treasure, and then I do this. And you might have these really interesting cascading events with your cards, and that's what makes it really cool. At the end of a round, when these locations have either been bought or not bought, they move immediately up into this discount area. And so you're constantly getting an influx of locations, and that is great. So I think that's another wonderful way that this game works super, super well. There's a lot of choice in this game, particularly with what you choose to play as your action from your hand and how you apply that. There's a lot of choice in these locations and how you make a combination of locations that go into your personal play area that allow you to do all of those cool individual kind of activations or bonuses during your turn. That's awesome. And you have only 5. I found myself filling up and wanting to take another location, and you have to activate your 5 and push them out and send them up with the treasure chest if you want to have a vacancy. So there is a lot of strategy and technique in what locations you select and then how you activate them and how they kind of cascade into each other. Player cards down here, the character cards, will give you some versatility, and I would not neglect purchasing those. Some of the king cards will give you some amazing benefits. Some of them are one-time only, some are continuous, but they will let you play in a different way than other players at various points in the game. That's kind of why I really suggest playing with the king cards. I think they're pretty cool. The flexibility with having different objectives every time also matters. Overall, Aquatica is a strong game. I think it's a little bit too fast. So that's my biggest critique. Just when you get your engine going, just when you get everything built up, the game can trigger really fast. Now, the way that it triggered very quickly almost every time I played was through the character deck. If players are buying a lot of characters to reach one of these goals that says have characters, right? Have actual characters in your hand or played out in front of you, then players will go and get them. And then people will not be able to necessarily get these conditions or complete the locations for victory points that they want to in the amount of time given. So again, this is a pretty fast game when you think about it, when you actually play through, and maybe the combination of your goals might accelerate the game even further. I would love to see this game come out with an expansion that includes more character cards. I think that that's very possible because there are plenty of goals and versatility with the goals. There are lots and lots of locations, but there really aren't that many character cards to sustain the kind of gameplay that I want and the length of game that I want, which is just a little bit longer than this one offers. Thank you so much for watching my brief video on just what Aquatica offers, the cool components, and the engaging gameplay. Now it's time to announce the winner for the Aquatica giveaway. I have the game sitting right there, and I'm excited to ship it off. And I'm going to announce the winner in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Congratulations! So, here's what I want my winner to do. You are going to write me at my email, tabletoptolson@gmail.com. Again, email me at tabletoptolson@gmail.com and give me your full name and address so that I can ship this to you right away and you can start enjoying your copy of Aquatica, much like I have my first copy of Aquatica. Thank you so much, everybody, for giving me feedback and suggestions and for jumping into this giveaway. I hope to have many more to come, so stay tuned and stay current with these episodes so that you can get that window of submission and hopefully win a game at some point. Thanks again. I'll see you later.